Hey everyone, and welcome to the first episode of Metal Monday. This is where we review albums that have been released, spotlight lesser known bands, and let you all know any albums that came out this month. Today we're going to be taking a look at an album that came out a few years ago called Where Owls Know My Name. Released in March of 2018, this is the third album from Pennsylvanian death metal outlet Rivers of Nihil. Nihil? In the past, I personally loved them, but I felt like they didn't make themselves really stand themselves out in their genre. They struck good chords with me, but I wouldn't have been able to tell the difference between them and any other tech metal band that was out at the time, thus turning me off from them for a little while. After Monarchy, which came out in 2015, they took some time to craft up an album we're going to be taking a look at today. So, did they find their footing and make themselves stand out amongst the rest of the run-of-the-mill tech death metal albums? Well, let's take a look, or rather listen, to this. The intro, Cancer/Moonspeak, starts off in an ominous tone, which already draws in a great atmosphere for the album. It even adds in cleans, just to give it a little more oomph to it. After setting the tone, it goes into their first main track, The Silent Life. Already it sounds like typical Rivers of Nihil's albums past, but there's a certain tone to the song that doesn't sound like their previous works in the past. It has a more melancholic sound to it this time around. In fact, most of the album has that feeling to it. Melancholy. It just sounds like it wants to offer negative feelings throughout it and give a sense of dread. The chords and notes that are in this album definitely give off that feeling. Well, to me anyway. And I hope the others can understand what I mean by that when I say that. By the way, for those of you who are watching this who are 21 up, in the US anyway, let's have some fun with this review, shall we? Take a shot every time I say melancholy or melancholic. You should be, at the very least, be tipsy. And then, at around the 2 minute 44 second mark of the song, it starts to slow down. And it's here where the album really makes itself stand out amongst the rest of its predecessors and its peers. The saxophone. This is one of the few albums I've heard in my life to feature sax on it, let alone songs. Now, the saxophone isn't utilized on the album, on the entire album, but it is a force to be reckoned with in the times that it does appear. For me, the best track is the third song, A Home. When I said that the saxophone wasn't that prevalent on the whole album, this is an example of that. There's no saxophone on this track, just a typical Rivers of Nihil song. Having said that, the melancholic tone is very noticeable throughout it, especially during the slower part. And the effect that they have after the line sounds amazing. Not exactly sure how to put it into words, but it sounds so good there. And easily one of my favorite aspects of this song is the guitar solo. If I were to compile a list of memorable guitar solos that I heard that came out in the year that this album came out, this would easily be in the top 5 for sure. And then after the solo, it essentially goes straight back to the chorus to wrap it all up in a nice big black bow. Of course it's black. This is metal after all. It's kind of funny to me that the best track on this album is then immediately followed up by the worst track, Old Nothing. Sure, it has that melancholic feel to it, but it doesn't do anything for me. It just sounds like a bland Rivers of Nile track with little to no substance. When I first heard this, I just thought, it's passable. Well, let's see what the rest of this offers. So I'm not going to talk about every single track individually, but there are some that I do want to highlight. Let's start with Subtle Change. The subtitle of this song is Including the Forest of Transition and Dissatisfaction Dance. And it does, indeed, make you feel like you're wandering through an aimless forest. The chorus will pop up a few times, and to me, it signifies as the starting point of walking through a forest where you first realize, oh shit, I'm lost. And each time the chorus comes in, it feels like you realize that you're back to where you started. And again, the song offers a melancholic feel to it, and features that gorgeous Kenny G saxophone, despite the fact it's not played by Kenny G. The solo that kicks in after the saxophone solo is already really top-notch, a rival to that of A Home. And the outro of this, which starts after the chorus pops in, feels like you're saying in your mind, oh, this is where I needed to go to get home. The next track I want to bring up is the title track itself, Where Owls Know My Name. This almost has a final track feeling to it, but it turns out that there's still one more to go, which we'll talk about in a bit. No melancholic feelings towards this album, but it does have a bit of a little trippy feel to it for a tech death album, which the band themselves must have thought, because the music video is also very trippy. And then I wished you away. I lost those memories. The music video kind of reminds me of a little bit of those back from the Black Sabbath music videos for Paranoid and the like. Hell, they're even dressed for the part, which adds authenticity to it. Also helps that it was filmed to look like music videos back in the days, with that VHS effect and whatnot. I'm not knocking on that. I'm just saying it's pretty cool, it's funny, and it's got a pretty good charming feeling to it. The last track that we get to, Capricorn. One of the things that I love about this is how the intro to the song, it makes the album come full circle. They almost repeat the same exact lyrics, but change it up after Fear drowns the mind. However, the notes that are played in Cancer/Moonspeak and this are the exact same, just more profound. I love it when albums can do this to any kind of degree. Playing that drinking game? Here you go. Sadly, no melancholy feel to this finale, but a great finisher nonetheless. So that was Rivers of Nile's Where Owls Know My Name. How does it do? Honestly, I love it. It's such a massive step up from their last two albums. They found a certain niche and tone that works really well with themselves, and I hope they continue to experiment with this on further records down the line. This album is currently available in stores for all you physical album collectors like myself. It's also on Spotify, YouTube, iHeartRadio, Apple Music, and Deezer. Got him! I absolutely recommend this album to those who love tech death, death metal, melancholic sounding albums, and those who are looking for something that's a little different and not as ordinary as every other album coming out these days. And that'll do it for this review of Metal Monday. What are your thoughts on Where Owls Know My Name? Thoughts on Rivers of Nile, the genre? Got an album you want me to cover? Comments below. Thank you all for watching this. Hopefully you didn't get a little too drunk from this video. If you're new to the channel, make sure you hit the like button on this, share amongst friends, subscribe to the channel for metal and video game discussions as well as other things. And we're looking to see if we can hit a year goal. 2,000 subscribers by the end of 2021, and this beard comes off. And I'll catch you guys in the next video. Later, Gators.